Hello, hello, hello. It's always a pleasure to be back again. In my previous episode, one of my previous episodes, I had promised that I'm going to come back with part two of how we can continue to build, healthy and thriving relationships with our intimate partners. So in that previous episode, I had shared with you why it is important to build healthy relationships with our partners, and I had shared some of the tools that could be used. I remember I talked about, deepening our love maps and continuing to work on ourselves and, creating and building that relationship with our own selves, and also identifying what our love language is and the love language of our partners. Now, picking up from there, I want to continue sharing with you, more strategies and more tools that will, allow us to build those healthy, thriving relationships. Um, I will make reference to my favorite relationship researcher, John Gottman, in one of his books, The Seven Principles for Making a Marriage Work. He shares about how, every relationship will at one point experience conflict. I don't know, in my personal and professional experience, I don't know of any couple that will not experience conflict at one point in their relationship. So the question is not whether conflict will happen, but how do we respond to that conflict? That is the biggest question, because that is what will break or build that relationship. Um, Now, John Gottman goes ahead to categorize the problems that we experience, and to be realistic, even though we are different and every relationship will be different and will have a different reality, but we experience similar relationships similar problems in our relationship. So if it's not money, it's going to be sex. If it's not sex, it's going to be children. If it's not children, it's going to be chores. If it's not chores, it's something around there. So so and because every relationship is different, one issue one issue may come off differently and may affect that couple differently. So, but again, the problems are similar in one way or another. So Gottman goes ahead to categorize all these problems. He says that of all the issues that we experience, they are categorized into two main categories. The first one is solvable problems and perpetual problems. 69% of the issues that we experience are perpetual in nature, and that leaves the 39% to be solvable problems. So, what are solvable problems? So, solvable problems are problems that are solvable in nature. So, for example, I'll give you an example. If you are a couple and you have two cars in your home because you need both cars, and all of a sudden one of the cars is broken, and before you know it, you have to carpool, you have to share one car, and as a result of sharing that one car, there is tendencies of running late and all that, and that is starting to create conflict between the two of you. Now, the reason why that is a solvable problem is because if the couple is able to replace the broken car, the couple is going to go back to the norm of we have two cars, and that problem is solved. So, but on the flip side, a perpetual problem is a problem that keeps repeating itself. And the reason why it repeats itself is because most of these perpetual problems stem from the people that we are, the experiences that we've had over the years, our childhood experiences, traumatic experiences that we've had, our core beliefs, what we deeply believe about who we are and the world, our worldview of, of our understanding of the world and how it operates. So, so because these issues stem from that place, they keep repeating themselves. Now, like I said, every couple is different. So one issue could be a perpetual problem for a specific, couple, and it could be solvable for another couple. It all depends. The reason why it is important to know these two different categories is because most couples tend to approach or to solve these problems, to solve all the problems, or to manage or to cope with their problems and approach them as if they are all solvable problems. And so there is a lot of frustration that comes with sitting down around the table and addressing an issue and maybe promising that this problem will never repeat itself, but before you know it, it's repeating itself. But if you know that, this problem is really stemming from, the struggles I have, the traumatic experiences I've had over the years, then that allows the couple to come up with a plan of, okay, how do we manage this problem since it's not even going to go away in a year or two, or even never go away? How do we, what is our game plan? How do we approach this issue in such a way that, we mitigate, the risk, or we even, try to manage or cope with it in a better way. Now, the good news. So there is the good news and the bad news after understanding, the difference between solvable and perpetual problem. The good news is that you do not have to. The good news is that you do not have to solve all the problems in your marriage or in your relationship before you enjoy your relationship. Because let's be honest, maybe these problems will never go away, right? So you may as well, try to, approach your issues or even seek for help on how to really cope with that problem that is perpetual in nature. The bad news is that there is no challenge, there is no benefit without a challenge. I do not know of any couple that is thriving and happy that does not put in the time and the effort to make that relationship work. Couples need to be intentional, they need to put in the time, they need to put in the effort if they're going to enjoy the good fruits of a good happy relationship. So that was about solvable and perpetual problems. Now another strategy that I would want to share with you is really creating a safe environment for your partner. What do I mean by that? Try to seek to understand just as much as you want to be understood. When you are having a conversation, when you are communicating with your partner, you really want to connect with them. Try for a minute to wear their shoes. Try to wear their shoes for a minute. Try to really wear the lenses through which they're using to, to experience whatever they are experiencing. Try to see what they see. Practice empathy, and try to be as supportive as possible. Be a good listener. As that is part of creating that safe environment. You don't want to make your partner feel as if they are walking on eggshells. You want them to be fully who they are in your presence. That's what I mean by really creating a safe environment and holding a safe space for your partner. Try to view conflict as a means of try to view conflict as an opportunity for you to understand your partner a little bit deeper. Conflict sometimes can be scary, but the reason why it is scary is the way we handle conflict, the way we respond to conflict, will make conflict scary. But if you use conflict as a platform to really get to connect with your partner and get to really understand them a little bit more, it can be a positive thing, right? So, say for example, if when you say something or when you do a certain thing, your partner tends to be triggered or tends to react or respond in a certain way, you want to take a minute and stop and ask yourself or even ask your partner, why is it that when I say something like this or when I behave this way, you actually respond that way? What do I need to know? Can you tell me a little bit more about that? Try to make it about your partner in that moment than making it about you. Don't take things. Try to stay away from taking things personal, and look at things more objectively, and more rationally and more logically. Um, Another strategy is to um, avoid the four horsemen. So Gottman, in his book, talks about, in the book that I referred to previously, he talks about the four horsemen of apocalypse. And he says that if these four guys exist in or prevail in any intimate relationship, this relationship is bound to dissolve, it's bound to end, or even if it existed, it is it is it is it is it's going to be very dysfunctional and toxic. So stay tuned. In the following episode, I'm going to share with you those four horsemen and their antidote or their remedies. What can you do to to deal with those four horsemen? It was a pleasure to connect with you one more time. Please, if you have any questions, any comments, feel free to share those with us in the comment section, and I will see you next time.